We're gonna escort Saori. Sorry. Hey, look, we're having exquisite screw. Alright, does this sound good, chat? This next part's gonna be probably pretty important to the story, so I just want to make sure things back to normal. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Okay, great. Make the boom sound a blurb for real trolling. Still don't know what even causes it.
Oh, I thought you'd lost already. So, what more could my lawyers want from me here?
Well, normally I would say the same. However, a corpse turned up as you said it would. It turns out you have a penchant for prophecy, Ehara-san.
Prophecy, huh? Kinda dramatic. No Hoshino today? Did you fire the poor guy?
Yagami's my name, sir. In a past life, I used to work with Kenda and Saori-san. But today, I'm at Serio High School in a contract advisory role for one of their clubs.
Serio High School?
It's the same school Toshiro-kun went to 4 years ago. You'd know it. I happened to be out there working a separate case. But that was when Shirosaki-sensei called, so that's why I'm here.
Well, well. Okay. Why are you here then?
That'd be obvious at this point, I'd think. As you know, Mikoshiba turned up as you said. His body was found in a warehouse. The question is, why did you know that well enough to proclaim it in court?
Haha. You might say it was a miracle. I wished hard enough for it to come true, and suddenly it did.
Care to tell us why you'd wish for a miracle like that?
Do you really need me to explain why?
Mikoshiba, you blame him for Toshiro-kun's death, don't you?
I do.
Even though when you took the school to court, no evidence turned up. A third-party investigation found no bullying occurred, didn't it?
At school, Mikoshiba tortured my son. He would beat him up, and then he'd demand all his money. That damn kid was a star student with high grades. My son's own class wouldn't stand up to him. To avoid being beaten, Toshiro used to. He'd steal money from me or his mother to make sure he could pay Mikoshiba off.
Ehara-san, you seem to know a lot about what happened to your son. Do you have any proof?
Would I have lost if I did? That school can rot in hell for all I care. Speaking of, you know what I'm convicted for. It was being a pervert. I admit to everything. I groped a businesswoman's ass in plain sight on a full train. There's no way I'm fighting for an appeal. So as for my defense, I'm in no need of lawyers anymore.
Ehara-san, just a second.
Why would I give you that?
Yagami-san?
Hiro Mikoshiba died in a lot of pain. His final moments were truly horrific. The last thing he felt must have been fear. After slitting his throat, his body was left to rot.
Doesn't that sound great?
It tells me that Ehara is guilty for sure, but there's no doubts that he's connected to Mikoshiba's murder. Need to hold his attention, convince him to stay, gotta make him understand I have more info than police do.
Take a look at this.
Oh, Mikoshiba. Looks like he's seen better days. Where'd you get the photo?
From a teacher at Serio High. But where she got it is the interesting part. A strange woman gave it to her and said to stay away from the Mikoshiba case. You remember Sawa-sensei, yes? She transferred to Serio 4 years ago, not long before your son passed away.
Yeah, not a face I'd soon forget. She told the whole court he was never bullied.
True. She did say that.
And it's not just her I detest. The administrators, the lawyers. Felt like choking the life right out of them. But if anyone needed to pay, it was Mikoshiba. He got what he deserved. It's nothing short of insane that they were just gonna let him get a teaching credential. It all comes back to a flawed and broken system of laws that has no business calling itself justice.
And it was you, wasn't it? You orchestrated every aspect of how Mikoshiba would die. But you didn't act alone. Who were the people behind it? How'd you convince them to kill a man?
That's a good one. You, my friend, are way off.
The way that interview went, Ehara's definitely guilty. But if we can't connect him to the murders, we're left with no leads to follow.
Yeah. Kept that secret on lockdown, no matter what I asked. What could possibly link Ehara to those men? Damn it. And I was so close, too. To think they're still somewhere in Ijincho. I need to find them before the trail goes cold.
So you're heading back to Yokohama?
Not tonight. Kaito's waiting for me in the office. I'll be in town for now.
Okay. If anything changes, I'll contact one of you.
Very sus.
Pretty tasty, thanks. Pretty tasty, thanks.
So I think that the woman who was groped was actually working with him. We just don't know how yet. I also thought, what if Koda's mom was the woman who gave Sarusan the photo? Because if Mikoshiba was also bullying Koda, what if it's Koda's mom who is groped? Or, like, in on it? Hey, a squirrel! Apparently, yeah, apparently there's like 50-something squirrels in this game. I don't know what they do. I saw like a tweet about it. I was like refusing to click on it because I didn't want to ruin it. Stands mom all along, I think so. Or at least, I think maybe it's like a bunch of parents are getting involved in like getting revenge on him. I think related to the bullied kid. Yeah, Koda, the girl who was getting bullied in school, she was also kind of bullied by. It wouldn't be the woman who got groped probably wouldn't be the mom, the kid who committed suicide, because I think they'd be like, oh, well, you're, together, I guess, I don't know. It'd still be not consensual, I guess. It's always raining.
Kaito-san, I'm back. Kaito-san?
Hey, did you see that email from Tsukumo?
Huh?
It wasn't that long ago. It's something you gotta see, though.
What is it? Something happened?
It's the murder footage. Mikoshiba's murder ended up on the internet. It's going viral on all the social media sites.
You gotta forgive me. I'll do anything you want. I didn't know he'd do it. I swear. Toshiro-kun was okay. I didn't know he'd kill himself. I really didn't know. I swear I'll try to make it up to him somehow. I'll spend the rest of my life making up for it. Stop it.
What the hell?
Stop it. Stop it.
No way.
Ehara.
Oh my goodness.
Ehara has an alibi for this, doesn't he? They already found him guilty, and that's the whole reason he couldn't have killed Mikoshiba, right? But if that's the case, what the hell is this? One way or another, either this thing is staged, or his entire alibi was a massive cover-up. They can't both be true. But there's something I just can't shake. If you want my opinion on it, this looks real.
I need to have another chat with Ehara. Damn it. I'm not gonna let him get away with this.
Whoa. That was pretty insane.
A train groping and a murder seem to occur simultaneously. Yagami relentlessly pursues these cases, attempting to poke holes in each. After confronting Akihiro Ehara, the key figure in both crimes, he witnesses a harrowing video that provides more questions than answers. In it, a bound man pleads for his life, but his attacker, bound by vengeance, snuffs it out.
So the murder footage is already making the rounds online. I don't think it's showing up on TV, though.
Yeah, the net's a mess right now. It's all unsubstantiated rumors and unverified sources. Typical, really. An ex-cop going from by-the-book sex offender to vigilante avenger overnight is prime forum drama. Sentiment seems to be swinging in favor of Ehara, but there's plenty of folks on the fence about it, too. The reactions have been all over the board.
Do we know if that video is authentic? I mean, CG has come a long way, right?
Oh, or perhaps a deep fake. That is plausible. AI has reached the point where it can generate pretty convincing facsimiles. Someone even made a video that made it look like the US president was saying a bunch of crazy stuff. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Deep fakes are only getting more authentic looking.
Can't guys like you tell if a video is fake or not, though? Aren't there any signs?
Oh, there are several telltale signs of a video being doctored. So I ran every check I could think of on the murder footage. And wouldn't you know it, nothing came up. Most likely, we're looking at the real deal.
Most likely?
Well, no one can claim with absolute certainty that it wasn't altered in some way. Which means it's not substantial enough to prove Ehara's guilt. At least not in a court of law.
Gotcha. Do you know when and where the footage was uploaded?
It was posted posted sometime last night, but the source is too hard to pin down. The uploaders spread it across multiple servers overseas in a well-concerted effort to hide their tracks.
Makes sense. But I'll bet it ultimately came from Mikoshiba's killers, no matter how real or fake it is.
How do you figure?
Think about it. No one could have staged that unless they knew the specifics of how Mikoshiba was killed. From how he was positioned to little things like the blood on the ground, every last detail was just as the detectives described it.
That's a good point. All this browsing's really taken a toll on the old pinky.
Why would the killers go through the trouble of spending this footage? What good would it serve them? Causing public uproar, obstructing the investigation. Whatever the case, I still have interviewing to do.
Looks like another visit to Ehara might clear things up. You should ask Shirosaki-sensei about it.
Yeah, that was my thought too.
Well, didn't the detective say there was like almost like a couple week window though? They're making the assumption that it was like 72 hours. The detectives were like, yeah, it could have been like 2 weeks. It could have been a couple hours.
Let me get this straight. Ehara went and felt a lady up on the day Mikoshiba got killed on purpose? If that's the case, why the hell would he upload a murder confession after the fact? Is he trying to get caught?
Only Ehara could answer that one for you. I want to ask him that question myself.
So, we're off to see Saori-san then?
I'm sure there's gonna be some kind of like mandatory side quest that we have to do. I mean, the Yakuza series has some pretty brutal like moments in it. It's not the first time we've seen someone get killed in Yakuza. Definitely a mature game. No squirrels up here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the investigators were like, yeah, it could have been a certain window. Any most brutal scenes you play Yakuza? There's some pretty brutal ones in Zero.
Slow down!
Alright, more stuff, more things. Doko.
Hold the door, please.
Mafia, you're here?
It's been too damn long, Mafia-chan.
Yeah. By any chance, Yagami-kun, are you working on a case for Saori? A video got leaked. It depicted a man committing a murder.
2 years later, still wearing the same outfit. Mafia is like prosecuted the Tokyo off. She's been best friend Saori-san ever since college. Two-town lady hot shots of the law on opposing sides of the courtroom. Apparently, they have a bit of a fan club.
Are you here about the Ehara case too?
Ah, they have 2 or 3 subs.
The prosecutor's office is in total chaos right now, especially the higher-ups.
I'll bet. After all, they're the ones who pushed for Ehara's battery conviction. If that video is real, that would mean Ehara got them to hand him a slap on the wrist instead of a murder conviction.
Yes, and it's not like the prosecution can say, "Sorry, Your Honor, we'd like a do-over," after
Those
the
are
fact.
separate crimes, though.
To make matters worse, everything leading up to the trial was broadcast all over the news. Changing our tune now would undermine public trust.
That's for sure.
So, for the time being, our department is trying to predict how the defense will approach the situation. Hence why they sent me here to check in on my good friend Saori. Totally no strings attached.
Well, that clears up a lot.
Get the hell. Maybe I missed something.
There you kids are. Figured you had to show up sometime.
Mafia? You're caught up in this too?
Yeah, she ran into us downstairs.
I'm sure you can work out that I'm here to spy on you. But wouldn't you like to know what we're up to as well?
Are you sure that's your only motive coming here?
Sorry?
Something like a professional excuse to see Yagami-san?
In your dreams? I had no idea Yagami-kun was involved until just now.
All right, I'll accept that. For now.
Gotta say, I miss this little banter.
What? Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Needless to say, our office is going through this footage with a fine-tooth comb. That said, they've already determined their stance. They've deemed it an unreliable source and therefore useless as evidence. Basically, they want it to look like it was considered and already thrown out.
Huh? So, they're not gonna verify the video? Not even question Ehara about Mikoshiba? Nothing?
Nope. Not after it was proven in court that Ehara committed sexual battery on October 7th. I mean, wouldn't you say a conviction has a certain finality to it? Besides, there's no way Ehara could have murdered Mikoshiba within that limited time span.
Right.
Which means the murder video doesn't really add up, does it?
What are you getting at?
I'm saying the prosecution believes the video has been falsified. Special effects, CGI, whatever it is, we're not buying it.
Huh.
Furthermore, the prosecutor pushing that stance was the one who handled Ehara's trial.
And that is...
His name is Sadao Takano. He was the one gunning the hardest for Ehara the first time around, especially considering his officer status. He kept insisting justice be served, which got the public behind him rather quickly.
He certainly looked the part of the people's prosecutor, grilling Ehara in court.
So what you're saying is, Takano could never accept anything but Ehara's original sentence. Since this footage of the murder contradicts that finding, he just thinks it's a sham.
Yes, and he'd add that a fair trial's result can't be challenged by some video on the internet.
Well, who could honestly trust a system that changes its mind so easily? Both the prosecutor's office and the court are beholden to the case as Takano-kun presented it.
But that's just sweeping the issue under the rug.
It has a domino effect, too. The police are beholden to the verdict we got, so their hands are tied. This applies to both Tokyo and Kanagawa.
Really? Why's that?
Supposedly, they don't want to get involved with Ehara until they're sure the video is real. If they come in with a list of questions about the murder, it'll show that doubt's being cast on the original ruling.
Yeah, but no one can prove that the video's real.
Right. There's no way to verify the legitimacy of an untraceable video. But if the police aren't allowed to see Ehara, he'll never even become a suspect in the murder. That means he's untouchable.
Exactly. None of the detectives are happy about that. Especially down in Kanagawa. Their job is to bring in a suspect, but their leads are all ending up at the same dead end.
Video footage of murder preventing a police investigation instead of starting one. What an absurd situation. Like, otherwise, take a liar sentence for a liar crime instead of being charged with murder. I mean, I still think the window is open for him to be able to do the time frame for him to be open is still available for him to do both. Based on our previous conversation with the detectives inside the warehouse. Everyone's kind of, I think, overstating that, oh, it happened at the same time, when it could have been different.
Until recently, people were lining
I
up
think they're
to bring
overstating
Ehara
it
to
too
justice.
much.
Yet somehow his involvement in a murder totally derailed that.
Don't be so surprised. No cop would ever want to undermine a ruling based on their own findings. Anyone who wants to go against the grain's gonna need hard evidence on their side.
So the case goes cold, all to save face for the court and the prosecution. If Ehara really did commit murder, it'll have been the perfect crime. This debacle only serves as proof.
True. It would turn the trial into a farce. There's no way we're letting this go.
But wouldn't challenging this mean going up against the entire system?
Yeah, that scare ya?
Not at all. In fact, I was just thinking, we're the only ones who could take a case like this.
Ha! That's the good shit, kid.
This whole time, we've been writing off Ehara as a convicted sexual predator. But it's looking more and more likely the court played right into his hand. As for me, I'm done being played for a fool.
Then you've heard what I came to say. And with that, I will be on my way. But if you need help, just ask.
I think we're good for now, but thanks.
That did clear up a lot.
No problem. See ya.
Was Mafuyu-chan cuter than ever, or what? Think maybe it's time to light that flame again, huh?
How many times do I have to tell you? It's not like that.
I'm down with it. Yeah, I think they're kind of overstating this, like the whole time frame thing, because they're assuming it happened at the exact same time. And based off what we've talked about with their detectives, it could be a variable amount of time between what happened when he got caught versus when the person died, based off the digestive state, I guess you want to call it, of the body. And also, like, committing murder and groping someone are two different things. It's like, so yeah, I can see, like, if they have to, first they have to argue if it's not at the same time, right? But then also it's like, okay, well, groping someone is one charge and a separate crime, and then murdering someone is also a different crime as well. So it's not like it's double jeopardy because it's two different crimes. It's groping and murdering someone are two separate things. They're not like the same thing. Like, oh, well, we can only charge him for groping. It's like, no, it's murder and groping are two different incidents and two separate crimes.